Hi, I am Mia Lamont, your host for the Brand Disruptors podcast. I've been a disruptor all my life, and I'm here to help other women step into their own greatness so that they can get paid to be themselves. I decided to start this podcast because I wanted to show other women how I and women like me took their life's disruptions and changed their lives and the lives of others, not to mention broke the mold in their industries. Look, branding is all about who you are at your core, the person that your soul is calling you to be. So get ready to step into your power, own your authenticity, and show up like the boss that you are. If you enjoy all aspects of personal development, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode. Welcome back. And don't pardon the disruption. I am Mia Lamont, your host for this podcast episode, Brand Disruptors. Yes, so we are back, and I wanted to say hello to all of you and to welcome you. And for those of you who have been listening over the last year, I really, really, really appreciate your support and appreciate the fact that you have been around and that you are here for us as we are here for you. So a little bit of background about me. I'm an image consultant and a brand strategist and transformation coach. And what does all that mean? It means I help you get closer to who you were always meant to be through personal branding. We have been so busy this year and we've not been so busy. So I kind of want to give a little bit of background about what's been going on, how we got to this point, and some of my lessons for the year of 2021. We're going to post this, have this episode out so that you guys can listen to it in the beginning of 2022. But I want to bring some of my biggest takeaways to this episode. So what is going on is that we started off 2021 really, really strong. We had our group Brand Disruptors going, and they were ending somewhere around July. And also starting a program called Globally Authentic with high-end elite mastermind sessions with some of the clients that were in Brand Disruptors, but also some of my private clients were put into that program. And then in June of this year, I ended a 16-year relationship with my significant other. And to say that things were rough is an understatement. So in June, not only did we end this relationship, but I also had to host an event for AICI, which is an organization that I belong to for image consultants. It also took place in June, the beginning of June. So I was in Florida hosting this, knowing that this relationship was over, but also had a retreat in New Orleans, Louisiana that I was hosting for my clients. So all of this was taking place in the midst of this breakup. So after the month of June and mid-July, I decided I needed to take some time off, to take some time for myself and really, get into what my lessons were around that relationship, but also lessons in life, because I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. And what I'd realized for myself is that there was so much dysfunction in my relationship with my significant other because there was so much dysfunction in the relationship with myself. So my commitment for 2022 is really about my relationship with myself. And how do I build that? Because it's really the most important one that I have. And it's the most important one that you have. And so I'm going to also say to you guys, really start to dig into that relationship with yourself. Are you treating yourself well? Speaking to a client yesterday, and we were talking about that. And she was also talking about she doesn't do a whole lot of self-care other than resting. And she hadn't even thought about dating, and she's been divorced for a while. And so I asked her to take herself out on some dates. And so that's what I plan to do as well. I am committed to treating myself a whole lot better than I have been. And please understand that I do treat myself pretty well. But it was the lessons from this breakup that made me realize that I can be doing a whole lot better. And I plan to do that in 2022 and beyond. So that's the first lesson that I got from, the end of this relationship. The other is that when people are pushed against the wall, they act in three different ways. They either excel, right? They either excel or they check out. So the second way is people check out. That's what I typically do. And then the third thing is that they get aggressive and they try to fight back. And what I realized is that I wanted to do more of the excelling. And so I needed to take accountability for my part in the end of the relationship, my part in the relationship. And then again, my part for how I was treating myself in this whole period. So I'm taking radical accountability for that by nurturing this relationship with myself. So what does this mean? This means that I'm going to be telling myself the truth all the time, no matter how much it hurts. There are some blind spots. We all have blind spots. So I would suggest for some of you who are dealing with that, like get a therapist that'll help you with that, or get a coach that'll help you to see these blind spots, because it's so important for us to tell ourselves the truth, but also be accountable for the truth that we are learning about ourselves. Yes? Yes. And then finally, the know, like, and trust factor. If you've been in marketing, if you've ever heard that term before, or if you've been in marketing, you've heard it before, that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. Well, what I've realized this year is that most of us don't know, like, or trust ourselves. Therefore, we struggle with the personal branding. We struggle with keeping our word to ourselves. And my commitment to you guys and my commitment to myself is that we're always working to know, like, and trust ourselves. We're building that self-trust by keeping our word. If we say we're going to wake up and exercise 3 times a week, we do that. If we say that we're going to make, 6-7 figures in our business this year, we're going to do that no matter what, right? So how do we keep our word to ourselves? And why do we tend to keep our word to others more than we keep to ourselves? So that's the kind of work that we're going to be digging into in 2022, and learning how to really step into our power, our personal power. I'm going to be heading to San Diego to do some work with my friend Heather Hubbard, who is amazing. And she started this thing called Simple Courage. And because of her simple courage, just to do things that were hard and to do things that, were out of the box, she's tasked me with personal power. And we get our personal power back by knowing, liking, and trusting ourselves. So if you're interested in joining us in February, please let me know. I will be there helping Heather to host that program, but to talk about personal power. But also, like, what is your commitment to yourself this year? Each year I come up with a new word for the year or a theme for the year. And coincidentally, this year it was personal freedom. I had no idea that the personal freedom was actually going to be physical freedom as well, and free from a relationship. So for this year, or for 2022, it's really about my relationship with self, and that's going to be the theme for the year, is relationship with self. And how do I cultivate that relationship and make sure that relationship is the one that is always on the front burner, and not from a self-centered, selfish point of view, but yes, I am going to be selfish and I am going to be self-centered. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we all know, we've heard, on the airplane, like, to put the oxygen mask on you first. And that's so you can save yourself first, right? So what are you doing to save yourself first in 2022? 2021 has been so hard. We're still in the middle of this pandemic. There's so much more that we don't know. A lot of people that I know have been sick this year. A lot of people have gotten COVID, and like it's been tough. And besides that, a lot of people are realizing that the relationships that they've been in aren't working, and they're looking for more, or they're looking for something that satisfies them, satisfies their partners. And right now is all about us. So if you haven't done this deep introspection yet, please do. Please do take some time to look at what you want for your life. I took my clients, my elite clients, into this exercise, and I'm going to go ahead and give you some of the questions so you guys could do this for yourself. But one of the things that I wanted to know for me, well, for my clients, was who do you want to be in 2022? Who do you want to be in 2022? And this is not about accumulating things. This is about a way of being. How do you want to show up in the world? Do you want to show up powerful? Do you want to show up with integrity? Do you want to show up for yourself? Do you want to show up for your family? Do you want to show up for your business? Like, what does that look like for you? Who do you want to be in 2022? The second question is, what did you enjoy about 2021? Like, what are the things that you want to keep doing? How do you want to keep being in 2021? What were those things, right? What was that? What did that feel like for you? What are those things? And then what are you going to stop doing in 2022? So there were some things in 2021 that you did not like, that you had to do, or felt like you had to do. What are you going to stop doing in 2022 so that you are living the best version of you? What are you going to stop doing? Are you going to stop doing the dishes? Are you going to stop stressing over meals and shopping every week, and maybe have someone come in and cook meals for you? Are you going to get a cleaning service? What are you going to do that's going to help you to get to your goals, right? And then what's the main focus or theme for 2022? Told you that mine is my relationship with myself. So what are you going to do? Like, what is going to be your theme for 2022? And then why is that your theme? Why is this important to you? Like, I want you to journal about why this is important. And then think about, what are you going to do to achieve this goal, or to achieve the theme of the year? So it may come into like a bunch of different steps, and I'll share mine with you guys once I've done all the journaling. I'll share all those journal prompts with this podcast interview, with this podcast episode. It's not an interview. And then like, how are you going to be accountable? Like, do you have someone that's going to keep you accountable to what you say you want? I have an accountability partner. It dawned on me that I have so many mastermind partners, and we are all friends, and we do discuss business, and we do discuss some personal issues that come up that interfere with business, but we don't really hold each other accountable, because it's a lot more casual, right? And so I got myself an accountability partner, and that accountability partner, like, we are keeping each other accountable and making sure that we keep our word to ourselves, but then to each other. And so you need to have someone whose views are aligned with yours, and who is going to show up when you forget to show up, right? Because you can't have two forgetful people. Put those things on the calendar, make sure it's done, and make sure that they know how to keep you accountable, how you're going to, like, what's going to make you want to show up for yourself. Yes and yes. So again, I'm going to share all this with you. Have some exciting podcasts coming up for you. I have been really doing a lot more networking this year, and made some great relationships. And so next year we're having this thing called Disruptor Day. We're going to do it monthly for the first quarter, just to see how people show up, and if you guys like it. And we're going to take the lessons, and we're going to take the the talks from each one of our guests, and we're going to put that in the podcast series. So you'll get to hear about all of that. You'll get to meet a bunch of different people because we're going to be having at least 12 to 15 women coming on each month. And so we got a lot of content coming your way. We're going to be doing podcast episodes every week. So most of them might be, series of the D-Day stuff, but also me coming in and popping on and talking about my experience of this relationship with myself, but also my experience as a single woman at 51. And what that's like, and navigating the dating pool and my healing, and also some adventures with my other friend who happens to be single as well. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys some more. I missed doing this podcasting. This is one of those things that I said that I was going to continue to do in 2022. And I just had to figure out a different way to make it happen. And so I've done that. And so here we are. We're going to be doing the podcast. We're going to be here each week, twice a week, bringing you inspiration, bringing you tips on how to build your brand and how to build your business. But more importantly, tips on how to become more of who you were always meant to be. And I'm on this journey with you guys. I'm doing the work. We're all doing the work together. And this work never stops. So please know that your personal brand is ever evolving because you are, as a human, ever evolving. So if you decide that, I don't want to grow anymore, I don't want to do any more of this work, that's good. That's good for you. You get to make that decision, but you also have to know that once you make that decision, you stop growing, you stop evolving, and the world doesn't. So much love to all of you. I'm so excited to be back. And I look forward to hearing from you all. Please leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And what do you want to hear more of? Do you want to hear more about strategy? Do you want to hear more about my personal adventures? Do you want to hear more about how to become a magnetic brand? How to become a thought leader? Give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about these podcast episodes. And also, what do you want to learn from me? Take care of yourselves. 2022 will be your year as long as you believe that it will be. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Brand Disruptors podcast. I'm your host, Mia Lamont. And if you like what you just heard, I hope that you will pass along our web address at www.mialamont.com/podcast. to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes, download this episode and any other episode that you found to be helpful. And be sure to check out our previous episodes and join our free Facebook group, The Disruptor Society, where we host exclusive content for our members, anything about branding, marketing, getting paid to be yourself, as well as all things personal development. Join me next time with another edition of the Brand Disruptors podcast.